Hey YouTube, it's Casual Brews here with my Week 11 NFL preview and picks. Yeah, coming off of a disastrous week last week, went 9-18 and 1 overall. By far my worst week ever. Didn't do so great the previous week either. I think I was 500 the week prior to that, and then before that I'd won like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. Pretty good record. Not sure what's happened. It's just the spreads. I think I actually went 500 in my over-unders last week. I just could not pick an apple in my spreads. So, try to change my thinking around a little bit. I don't know. Could just be. It was a lot of weird football the last couple weeks, though. Some crazy upsets, some bizarre scores and games. I don't think anyone could really say they had unless really maybe the less you know, the better. I don't know. Yeah, some crazy games the last couple weeks. Hopefully a little more normalcy this week. Feel pretty good about these picks. Spent some good time on them, so we'll see how they do. I already made a quick video about the Thursday nighter game. Atlanta was 6.5-point dogs at New England. I picked Atlanta. Obviously they lost, but I did have the under, so one and one start to the week. Better than the last couple. I think I got swept on Thursday night last 2 weeks, so I'll take that as a small improvement. So yeah, the game was kind of how I thought it would be, low scoring, kind of defensive struggle. Really, Atlanta was kind of hanging around as bad as they looked on offense. They had a missed field goal early on. They were kind of right in it. It was 10-0, 13-0. Atlanta had the ball driving, I think, fairly late in the game to make it possibly 13-7. And then interception, and then just kind of wheels fell off towards the end. So anyway, that's that. So starting off, I got Washington, Carolina. Washington's 3-point underdogs at Carolina. Both teams coming off of pretty impressive wins. The football team over the Bucks, Panthers over the Cardinals, granted without Kyler Murray. Cam Newton getting the start. I'm sure, I don't know if you have a small leash or what it is. PJ Walker looked pretty good last week, but then Cam Newton did his thing in short bit of action when he got in the game in the red zone. So, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Washington is still, I think that was kind of a fluky win, like a lot of wins for some of these weaker teams have been over the Bucks. I think they caught the Bucks just on a bad day. I don't know. They've been overall throughout the year not very good. Carolina, it's kind of burned me a few times picking them, and they've laid an egg, but I just think here 3 points at home. McCaffrey's back. That's the big thing. There's so much different offensively with him, and him and Cam Newton obviously have a bit of a rapport too. So I don't know. I don't expect a lot from Cam, but I think they can win by at least 3 here. So give me the Panthers -3, and I like over 43 in this one too. Washington's defense, although they look pretty good at times against the Bucks, it was their offense that really just kept their defense off the field a lot of that game. So I don't know. I still think each team can kind of string together enough drives to get that over 43 to go. So give me the over. Next up, we got San Francisco at Jacksonville. Obviously, I got burned really bad picking. I thought the Rams would kill the 49ers on Monday Night Football. The opposite obviously happened. Now I got a question, are the Rams frauds? I don't know. San Francisco, I still don't long-term believe in them, but because it's weird. They have this formula where when they get their run game going, they get the play-action pass working off of it, they use the middle of the field, use guys like Kittle, Debo. They look unstoppable at times. But then they just seem to overthink it sometimes. And I think it all comes, I think they have the players, they have the roster, a good roster. I just don't like Shanahan. I just feel like he overthinks it sometimes and goes away from what works. In the Rams game, he just stuck to what was working, did it over and over again until the Rams could stop it, which they couldn't. So when the Niners play like that, they're as good as it gets. They're a contender. But I still think defensively there leaves a bit to be desired in the secondary. But in this game, Jacksonville stinks. They showed a little bit of fight here and there. I think they covered against the Colts, which I didn't pick, obviously. They showed a bit of fight in that game. I just would assume that, Shanahan and the rest of the coaching staff sees what worked in that Rams game and figures, oh, we can do this against Jacksonville, and continues down the right track. So I'll regrettably pick them -6 at Jacksonville. I'm going to take the under 45. I just think Jacksonville just still struggles to score. Lawrence, granted, he doesn't have a lot to work with. He's not in a great position. Offensive lines are really bad in Jacksonville. They just don't score. And San Francisco get their run game going, chew the clock. They'll score pretty easily, I feel like, against Jacksonville, but I don't think they'll give the Jaguars much time to score, and henceforth it'll be probably a low-scoring blowout for the Niners in this one. So, Niners and the under. Next up, we got Saints at Eagles. Saints 2-point underdogs. Philly's been a weird team. Like, some of their wins would convince you they're a pretty solid team, but they're still only 4-6. They look really bad at times, really good at times. They looked really good last week, beating the Broncos. The Broncos coming off their impressive win against Dallas. So, like I said, some weird games these last couple weeks. I still think the Eagles are what they are. They're not a bad team. They're kind of that middle of the road. Saints, it's tough to bet on them because obviously question marks at quarterback with Simeon, but I think overall their defense is still pretty good. They scratched and clawed. They were a couple missed extra points away against the Titans from winning that game possibly. So I'm going to roll with them here, getting 2 points, the Saints. And I like the under in this one, 43. Game's in Philadelphia, probably be cold. I don't know. I just think the Saints defense is still pretty good. I think the Eagles are due for a regression game here. It's just been the theme of the season. Teams play good, so you want to ride them the next week, and they go and kind of lay an egg the next week. It's killed me all year long, betting on teams to look like they did last week. So, I don't know. I like the Saints here overall, just top to bottom, a little bit better than the Eagles, so give me 2 points easily. So, Saints and the unders there. Next, we got the Miami Dolphins. They're 3.5-point favorites at the New York Jets. Another tough battle of two bad teams. I just think Miami, kind of on a longish week. Obviously, they played the Thursday night game last week, beat the Ravens impressively, so it would seem like the right idea to then bet against them at the Jets, but Jets starting Flacco now. Again, I'm going against what I just said, betting on a team off an impressive win. They seem to fall back to earth the next week. I just think the Jets, with Flacco, we've seen him recent years. I don't know. If it was Mike White, even though Mike White looked like crap last week, but I don't know. I maybe would have more faith in the Jets here, but I think Miami just overall defensively, and Tua seems to be kind of coming around a little bit. I like what I saw. I liked what I saw from him at times in that Ravens game, so I'll take Miami -3.5. Again, I don't love it because of the trend that's been happening in recent weeks. But yeah, I like it enough over the Jets. 3.5 should be doable. And I like another under. A lot of unders so far. 44.5. Jets with Flacco, I think, are going to struggle to score. Jets defense is really bad, so that worries me. But Miami, I don't know. Two weaker teams like this just tend to play low-scoring games. Probably going to be a couple turnovers on both sides of the ball. Both teams, rather. Kill some drives. Who knows? So, yeah, I like the under here. Next, we got Houston at Tennessee. Houston getting 10 points at Tennessee. I don't know. Titans, I'm not to say, they're still going to be, even without Derrick Henry, one of the top teams in the AFC once all things are said and done, but I feel like their offense is kind of sputtering a little bit the last couple weeks. They were kind of figured out a little bit against the Saints. Didn't love what I saw at times in that game. They're going to win this game, but I think it'll be close. I feel like I don't know. Houston, yeah, they're obviously one of the worst teams in the NFL, but I think they're coming off a bye. I think they have enough pride to keep this close, even if it's like 20 to 14, 20 to 13. I don't know. I just think Tennessee's offense, I think Julio Jones is still out. Titans offense just didn't look that great last week, so I don't know. I'm going to ride with Houston to at least keep it close. I think 10 points is a little too much to give the Titans to cover without Derrick Henry right now. And I like the under 44.5 again. Like I said, Houston's offense overall is just bad. Tennessee's offense still solid, but just a little bit. Like even in the game when they dominated the Rams, right? It was their basically 2 pick sixes, 1 pick towards right near the end zone. But overall, their offense in that game didn't even look that impressive without Henry. So I don't know. I like the under. I just think it's going to be a low-scoring struggle, divisional game, tough game. Next, we got Lions at Cleveland Browns. Lions getting 11.5. Browns obviously looked like shit last week. There's all the reason, based on what we've seen, recent trends, for them to kind of bounce back here. I do think they win this game, but I think Detroit can keep it within 11.5. Detroit coming off a tie to the Mason Rudolph Steelers. Not crazy, not that impressive, but I think coming off a tie, they're going to be extra juiced to try to get that win here. I don't think they will, but I think they can keep it within 11.5. The Browns, there's been enough evidence so far this year that the Browns just aren't as good as we thought they'd be coming into this season. Their defense has struggled a lot at times. Looked good some weeks, but outside of like Myles Garrett, they got a lot of holes. Linebacker, their secondary is a little suspect. So I like the Lions to keep it within that number, 11.5. And I like the under, once again, 43.5. Browns offense, man, just looks all out of sorts. And Mayfield as well is very dinged up. He's still going to play, but shit, at this point, you're probably better off with Case Keenum. But he's going to tough it out. But I think he's going to be limited. The Browns offense in general is going to be limited. I'm sure it's going to be cold, windy in Cleveland that time of year. It's going to be, I think, another grinded out game. Something like maybe 17-12 Browns for all I know. Detroit also struggles to score too, so I think Goff as well might not even play, so not that really is a huge deal, but at least it helps the under. So hopefully you can still get within 11.5, but yeah, under 43.5. Next up, Colts at Bills. Colts 7.5 point underdogs here. Yeah, I like the Colts. Bills, and coming up, they smoked the Jets, obviously, before that, and that crazy outright loss to the Jaguars. But, yeah, I think the Colts can keep it close, honestly. I don't know. Colts are a team where they look really impressive at times, but kind of play down to their competition a little bit. So a game against the Bills, I think they could maybe rise to the occasion here. Yeah, I'm going to take Colts plus 7.5. They could win this game outright, honestly. Or the Bills could flex on them the way they did the Jets and win by 20. Who knows? But if I had to pick, I'm going to say the Colts cover here, 7.5. I also like the over 49.5. Both teams have been kind of inconsistent on defense. Both can also score easily at times. Both offenses very prevalent with the deep passing game, quick scores, explosive plays. I like the over a lot, 49.5 here. First over in, my second over so far. But yeah, over 49.5. And this one, except Green Bay, 1 point favorites at Minnesota. Yeah, kind of a strange line. I don't know. Minnesota's been hot and cold. So I got to ride with Green Bay here. They're another team where I've when they've won a game, I've picked them the next week because they've looked pretty good, and then they burned me by laying an egg. So then I bet them to lose the next game, and then they won like they did. They won last week, obviously, against the Chargers when I was betting them off of their stinker they had against, I don't know, maybe Dallas, I don't know. But yeah, so Green Bay, obviously coming off their shutout win against Seattle. We'll talk about that more later. But yeah, I like Green Bay pretty easily here, -1. It's at Minnesota. It's going to be in a dome. No crazy snow or weather restrictions to stop Green Bay's offense from rolling. I think here, Minnesota's defense is okay. I think it's maybe a little better than average, but I don't know. Green Bay is just on a roll, especially defensively. My God, I think they're gonna make it hard for Minnesota's offense here. But with that being said, I do like the over 47.5. Just contradicting myself, but I think Minnesota can still get like 20 points, and I really like Green Bay in this spot. Honestly, I know they don't have Aaron Jones, but AJ Dillon he's a different kind of running back. He's more your old school style grounded pound, but yeah, I still think just with their weapons at receiver, like I don't know, Davante Adams is going to have a field day. I think this is going to be a massive game for him, especially going against like a top tier receiver and Justin Jefferson. Like guys take that personal, so he's going to blow up. I think in this game, I think Green Bay gets at least 30, and then Minnesota maybe 17, 20 points on their own. They got the over 47.5. Next up, Baltimore 4.5-point favorites at Chicago. It's a tricky one because overall Chicago, yeah, they look pretty bad most times, but they're acceptable to that one game here and there where they like fight, claw, tooth and nail like they did against Pittsburgh. But I don't know, the Ravens, bad loss against the Dolphins, like a bounce back spot here off like a, extended rest Thursday to Sunday. Yeah, I just like the Ravens here to cover that. Maybe the Bears will keep it kind of close. I think they will. Their defense still is okay, not as good as it's been in past years, but Justin Fields is a fighter. He's still a rookie. He's still not great yet, but he can. We saw in the Pittsburgh game, he can fight. So they might keep it within a touchdown or two, but Ravens minus 4.5. I gotta feel like they get bounced back here. I know I've been wrong saying that about the Ravens a couple times, but I think they can get on track here. They need to win. They need to keep controlling that division that they should believe is theirs based on recent years. So yeah, give me the Ravens and give me the under 44.5. Baltimore I still think their offense is pretty good, but they also, kind of like I've said about the Packers at times or Patriots, they can in the Niners, they can go on long drives and even like look dominating offensively, but still not put up a ton of points just because they have long drives and run-based drives, kill the clock, etc. Their defense, I think, is still pretty good as well. So I think they'll hold this under 44.5. I can see this again being like 23, 24 to 13 for the Ravens. So yeah, take the Ravens and the under here. Next we got Cincinnati, Vegas. This line was a pick'em when I got it. It may have moved -1, +1 now, but either way, I just feel like with such a low line, you might as well just take the money line. So I took pick'em -110 money line. Cincinnati at Las Vegas. Yeah, I don't know. I just watching Vegas. It's sad to say because it's obviously, football is secondary in what happened, but losing Ruggs just seemed to kind of throw off the Raiders' offense. Now they hope Deshaun Jackson's going to be the same guy. He had his opportunity to be in the Chiefs game, and then he fumbled the ball on his one catch deep down the field. Now maybe he can still get going in that regard, but he's still not as fast, I don't think, as Ruggs was. He still doesn't pose the same threat that Ruggs did, and their offense just looks kind of disjointed a bit. I don't know. I think in Cincinnati's defense is still solid. I know they got whooped by the the Browns, but again, in a bounce back spot here for the Bengals, coming off a bye, I believe, right? Yeah, I like the Bengals to come and have a good game here. Again, it's going to be a hostile environment, but it's going to be still indoors, so I think that helps. A younger quarterback, not used to playing in the elements, maybe. So, I think Burrow comes out, has a good bounce back game. And yeah, the Raiders, they were a good story for a couple, 2-3 weeks there when they were winning after Gruden got let go. But now I think they're kind of back to earth a bit. They're not a great offensive team. They're not a great defensive team outside of their pass rush. So I like the Bengals pretty confidently here, actually. And then I like the under 50.5 here. Don't love this one because I could see the Bengals kind of opening this game up, scoring quickly, and maybe the Raiders getting some scores late. But yeah, I just think Cincinnati's defense is still pretty solid, and the Raiders I don't like their offensive flow. They're not running the ball all that well right now either, as well as just without Ruggs, it's just their passing game is a little more limited now. Yeah, so I don't know. I like the Bengals and the under 50.5. Okay, and we got next up, I think probably pretty easily the game of the week. Chiefs 2.5-point favorites at home against Dallas. This line, again, may have moved. I made my picks yesterday, which is Thursday. But yeah, I got it Chiefs 2.5, which is good because this game could easily go down to a field goal. Could be like a 3-point game either way. Two very evenly matched teams. I think Chiefs kind of maybe found their rhythm a little bit the last couple weeks. Dallas, bad loss, and really good win, although that really good win against Atlanta doesn't look as good after what we saw from them on Thursday night. Yeah, I just think Chiefs can pull this one out. I'm not saying they're all the way back. Like, their defense still has some question. The defense has been playing really well lately, but they haven't had a team like Dallas with their offense test them yet. So I think Dallas will still get their points. The Chiefs' offense seems to have figured something out. There was like something like Mahomes like threw the most passes he's ever thrown or something, or at least in recent times, as far as like checkdowns and short passes go, which, yeah, the defense is giving them because over the last few years they've been so explosive down the field. Teams are taking that away, just like they take that away from the Seahawks. And unlike Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes was taking those short passes and letting his playmakers make plays. And it's been working. And they can run the ball a little bit better now than they have. Dallas' defense is still, I think they're still pretty good, but I don't know. It's still, again, this will be a real test for both defenses who, again, you have your Chiefs defense who has looked to improve but maybe not been tested, and you have Dallas' defense who started off the season really hot and, again, looked a little suspect against Denver, had a nice game against Atlanta, obviously, but we saw Atlanta last night. So it's be a real big test for both teams' defenses here. But without that all being said, I like the Chiefs minus 2.5 just to kind of keep things rolling. It'll be a close game. I'm glad I got it 2.5 because 3.5 I would have really had a hard time with that pick. Yeah, I'm glad I got it 2.5 because I could very easily see this being like a tie game late. Kansas City maybe pulls a late drive out, wins by a field goal. So I got, Kansas City minus 2.5, and I think just too high. I have under 56. Now, it seems crazy with these two explosive teams to take an under, but I think that's why the odds makers made it so high. Like 56 is like, I think we had a 57.5 with the Chiefs earlier this year, or with Dallas, I don't know. But 56 is one of the highest we've seen. I just think at least one of these defenses is going to really show up and show that they are maybe legit. Whether it be Dallas's, defense, which has been pretty good all year, or the Chiefs' defense, which has been good lately. I think one of those two units will show up, and henceforth this will go under the high amount, 56. If I had to pick a score, I'm going to say Chiefs 27, Dallas 24 in this game. Next we got Arizona, 2-point favorites at Seattle. For the first time all year, I'm going to pick against the spread, or pick against Seattle against the spread. Even when they lost those two games with Geno Smith, Steelers, and Saints, I still picked them against the spread. I didn't feel good about them winning the game, but at least they covered. I don't know. I'm going to make a video today about, kind of had a busy week, so I couldn't make like an immediate Seahawks recap like I usually do, but I'm going to make like a combined recap of that Green Bay debacle, plus kind of a preview into this game and maybe even kind of the rest of the season, so to speak, about the Seahawks. But yeah, I just hated what I saw. The defense is still playing really good. Like, for as much as their defense got trashed early in the season, they have shown up, and they showed up all game long against the Packers. Gave them more than enough chances to win that game against Green Bay. And yeah, the offense just was a no-show. Russell Wilson was a no-show. He probably had, I think, go back to like one game last year where he was god-awful through like 3 picks or something. But yeah, in this game, he was terrible. And it's not just he had a bad game. Like, even the best quarterbacks have bad games, but it's just a tendency now that's developing where teams have taken away the deep shots for the most part, the big passes down the sideline, this and that. They're bracketing coverage over to DK, forcing Russell Wilson to, go to Lockett. But he can't go to Lockett because Lockett primarily runs deep. Even when he doesn't run deep, Russell Wilson doesn't look to that soft spot in the middle of the field where every other team beats us continuously. Those soft zones in the middle of the field. I don't know if it's his height or what. If he needs to roll out of the pocket more and throw, like, you need to do like maybe what you do with the Rams sometimes and just immediately rolling out of the pocket. get him looking out that way because he's just not seeing wide open guys. And it went pretty viral, or at least pretty well viewed. There was like some guy posted like multiple pictures from not just last game but several games this year where guys were wide open on the field, like especially in the mid, mostly in the middle of the field too, where teams like constantly where the Niners burned the Rams all game in that Monday nighter. Middle of the field, wide open guys in the middle of zones. There was multiple instances of Russ having guys like Lockett or the tight end wide open in the middle of the field. And the worst part was these were all only plays that ended in interceptions or like third down incompletions, killing drives. They weren't just like little first down plays. They were like, and even on that, in the one play, he had, the first down interception in the, end zone. There's like a guy wide open there too. So anyway, I'll get more into that in the actual Seahawks video. This is supposed to be for all the games, but yeah, I like Arizona -2. Kyler Murray should be back playing, and if he is, mobile quarterbacks give the Seahawks trouble. Yeah, I like the Cardinals pretty comfortably in this one. Seattle's home field advantage is a thing of the past. The last couple years, I feel like their record at home isn't anything respectable at all. So give me the Cardinals -2. First time I'm picking the Seahawks opponent against the spread. Cardinals -2 with Kyler. That's just stealing money at this point. And like the under 48. Seahawks defense, like I said, still playing really well. I think even with Kyler back, they'll still be a little bit sluggish offensively, maybe. And yeah, the Seahawks just need to show me that they can function offensively in this day and age where teams are doing what they do to a lot of explosive teams and taking away explosive plays. So they can show me that they can string drives together without bombs down the field and this and that. And I just can't trust their offense right now. Next up, we got Pittsburgh, 5.5-point favorites at the Chargers. Again, this line is probably going to move to Chargers being even more favorited because I believe Big Ben is out. I think pretty sure he's out for this game. When I made this pick, I thought he was still playing. I don't know. They keep burning me, and I'm gonna feel like an idiot if I'm wrong on them again, picking the Chargers. But I just feel like they have to get it going again. Like they had another tough loss against the Vikings, but Vikings have looked good at times this year, and just as much they've looked bad. So I don't know. At least they made that game kind of close. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers -5.5. I like it even more, obviously, if Big Ben isn't playing. But even if he is, I don't know. Pittsburgh, they're still not one of the top teams in the AFC, and the Chargers were supposed to be. So I don't know. I'll take the Chargers -5.5, grudgingly here, and over 47. I don't love that with Pittsburgh's offense kind of being limited, especially with Big Ben not playing. But I think the Chargers are due for a game where they finally break out offensively. I just think they're well coached enough. They're gonna see the problems they've had offensively and figure something out. I don't know. Don't love either pick in this game, but it's kind of got to pick something, right? So Chargers in the over here. Lastly, we got the Monday nighter, Tampa Bay, 11.5-point favorites at home against the Giants. From what I've seen, I feel like everyone loves the Giants here because they've covered, I think, multiple of these big spreads. But I just think Tampa Bay, coming off that bad loss to the football team, Washington, I think they're due for just a pissed off kind of effort. Big game, big blowout. Giants are still a scrappy team, but they're not great still. I just have a hunch about this one that it's going to be a blowout for Tampa, coming off that bad loss. Rebound game, flex their muscles, pissed off Tom Brady, this and that. Gronk should be playing, which is huge. I don't know about Antonio Brown. That would be big as well if he was playing. I don't think he is, though, but Gronk should be back, which is big for Brady, big for the offense, big for the team. Their defense is it's still not great, so I'm taking the over 49.5. I think there will be a lot of points scored. It could be a high-scoring blowout, but yeah, I just like Tampa Bay here big for some reason. Just got a hunch that Giants have they've been covering these big spreads, but I think they're due for a clunker here. Still not a great team, and, bad teams have games where they get blown out, and this is, I think, going to be one of them. So Tampa Bay -11.5 here, and over 49.5 to wrap it up. Those are my picks. Overall, I feel better about them than I did last week. coming off a miserable picking week last week. Nowhere to go but up. So if I were to tally all my results from the year, I'm probably right around 500. I started pretty hot. I think I started week 3 officially doing the picks, went on a nice win streak to start, and then had a couple like 500 weeks, and then the last 2 weeks have been bad. So yeah, nowhere to go but up. Feeling good about these ones. And yeah, so until probably get my Seahawks video uploaded today. Just kind of diving into more about their struggles and this and that. But yeah, so those are my picks. Enjoy.